and welcome back to Marta from Sparta, and I am super excited for this episode because we're gonna do sun printing again. And I do not know what about me and sun printing in March, but literally almost exactly a year ago I did a sun printing video, how to sun print, and I'm showing you there like multiple different techniques how to do sun printing. And I was sitting and was thinking like, what kind of video I can do now for the spring? And the sun printing came to me again, and I am reusing products which I used last year when I was doing sun printing. But I was thinking that probably in March and the sun comes out and I want to be outside, so the sun and sun printing comes together. So I came up with another amazing idea from the sun printing project. This time we actually, as I said, will be reusing fabrics which I sun printed on them last year. And I did some napkin last year, but I still had a lot of them left, which I kept it. And I thought like one day I'm gonna come up with a project. So I did come up with, I'm sure I didn't invent that. It just came to me because I was painting and I was taking new painting classes. And she was showing us how to use stencils in a very fun artistic way. And then I was making this project for you guys and I was like, wait a second, what if I'm gonna use the stencils for sun printing? So I did sun printed few pieces using stencils, and I'm gonna give you my feedback about it in a few minutes, and then we're gonna jump into the project. I thought that a great idea to do placemats which are done out of my sun printing pieces. And the reason why I want to do that, I thought like they are very small pieces, so I have to come up with something small to make out of it. And some pieces, if you're gonna go back to my video from last year, didn't come up right because I was still learning, because there was a drop of water on it and it ruined it, or because there was shadow casting from my deck or from the tree and it was actually printed on my fabric, which I didn't want to. So because of these imperfections, I decided to do a patchwork sun printing placemats. In this video, I'm not gonna absolutely talk about details and how to do it. I'm gonna link the video with detailed sun printing instructions and detailed different techniques in description below. But again, because of those imperfection of those fabrics, I still kept them because they were beautiful. I just decided that maybe one day I'm gonna come up with the idea how to reuse them and kind of avoid this little imperfections. So what I did, I cut them in tiny squares, and you're gonna see the video. And size of the square, it's up to you. There was multiple pieces of my art, sun printing art from last year, which has like a water leaks on it or some smudges, and I decided to actually put all this kind of like water leaks, smudges, drops which they're not supposed to be there, or like leaks in one coaster, which actually gonna be more like abstract, right? Because if you're gonna cut them out from your fabric, look at this beauty. They actually look beautiful. They all this like drops of water, that was a rain, that was some splash or leak of water. Each coaster going to be very unique and different. I'm not gonna have two same that's not the coasters, placemats. They all gonna be very unique, and when I'm gonna look at the individual pieces, I remember the day when I was making them and it was so much fun. And I have one or two more coming up. So I will explain to you how I did it. And this is really not that hard. What I started is basically I traced the bow, which is a little slightly larger than my plate. And that was my actual pattern. And I made sure that I cut out more pieces than I need to cover this actual pattern circle. Once I had all my pieces done, I cut up tons of squares of the same size, and I try to kind of like put them in piles. You will see with the color which is matching the closest, with the texture and print which is matching the closest, because again I had the idea, right? So leftovers, I made kind of this one, which is supposed to just collect the pieces, which looks like a painting, like an art, like pieces of the painting, and this is very abstract one. This one has one specific plant which I found, and the rest of it I just decided to do what I did, and I'm still working on two more. And this is basically first time when I'm actually doing anything patchworky, okay? And I have to say, hands down, for all these women, it's a lot of practice, and it's really not that easy because each square has to be very, very exact size, and on top of that, when you're stitching them, they have to be really precise. So mine are like kind of close enough because they're not meeting in the middle, not all of them at least, but I am very, very happy how it came out, and it doesn't bother me whatsoever at all. And now I'm gonna show you how I am actually putting everything together. So first of all, trace a circle out of something which is bigger than your plate itself. Step number 2, cut out enough of those squares to be able to cover the whole circle you cut out, plus extra, because remember, you're gonna be losing a little bit for a seam, right? So you always have to have a little bit extra for your circle. Once you connect them all together and you have them in one piece, then what I did actually, so that's how they're gonna look like. Okay, lovely bunnies, so that's basically how it looks when I connect squares, and then I'm gonna stitch them over here just together to create this one rectangle, which I'm gonna be able to trace my circle out of it, and then I'm gonna trace another circle for the back of it, and I'm using this fabric, and I think I made 2 coasters with the ribbon around them, and I think the another 2 coaster I'm gonna make without, just to have some variety. Make them in one piece, and then you're gonna cut out a circle out of it. But you're also gonna need padding, and you're gonna attach the padding to either back, because this is have back and the front of your placemat. I attached it to the front. That's optional if you want to have ruffles around. I wanted to have ruffles, so I added ruffles, and I will explain how to attach it in a minute. But you need your squares, you need padding, and you need something which is gonna be the back of your placemat, and obviously a ribbon of some kind of decoration, or you can just skip it and stitch circle together. So let me show you very quickly my sun printing using stencils. That's how it came out. And my feedback about it, stencils, especially the plastic ones, which I have, are not the best to actually do sun printing on them. And the reason for that, they are made out of plastic, and sun can still is able to penetrate through the plastic, which means that with a longer exposure, whatever it's white, so it's gonna be it's not getting white, it's getting also exposed, so it's not blocking enough sun to actually give you this white effect, you know what I'm saying? So this flower was blocking the light enough so we could bleach, or not bleach actual, this part of the fabric. But as you see over here, that was different color of fabric used, but as you see over here, the stencil actually let the light to go through, which the exposure is not what we're looking for. So if you want to use the stencils, and I will use the stencils in the future, I would suggest to get stencils which are made of the cardboard. And I have some of them at home, but I do not have any more cyanotype fabric at home. So I think the next project which I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually test exposing on the cardboard, because it's thick cardboard. It's not gonna it's not gonna let the sun go through it. So I like the idea using stencils, but I learned on my own mistakes that plastic stencils let the sun go through, and exposure is really bad, and it's actually not working as it's supposed to work. I will still use these 4 pieces because they still came out amazing, for something fun to actually complement the project I'm doing. So since I have a pattern cut out and I have 2 test pieces already done, I'm gonna try to create 2 more placemats, and I have very limited squares left, so I have to really think hard, and I'm gonna place them, and in my case it's 5 by 5 squares to cover this circle, and I'm gonna connect them together. And then once I'm gonna do these 2 placemats, I'm really eager to use those 4 fabrics which I have, and they are very small, they just like a letter size, but I have an idea how to use them in my actually project which will complement my placemats, but I'm not gonna spill the beans yet, so you have to stay tuned. Because I have 3 more sheets left from the last year when I was trying and testing sun printing, you guys see over here, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to sun print 3 different sizes of those, and kind of fun way incorporate them in a general design. I might skip this one because they're huge, and you know, like oh my god, plate mats are not that big, so if I'm gonna use this one, basically it doesn't make sense because it's gonna take up a lot of space. So I might do 2 more sizes. One is already outside, and again, we don't have a big sun today, and of course I had to came up with this idea on the not really sunny week, because whole week it's not gonna be too sunny. So I might try 2 more sizes for the variety, and then in the midtime when it's exposing outside, I'm cutting my pieces, and I think I'm gonna want to use this honeycomb, I think it's called, pattern in the center of the placemat, and then surrounding by flowers, which I exposed last year. I will see. Design part of it gonna be probably the longest one, so I'm still waiting for everything to have it in my hand and cut it, and then I will decide it. But this I'm gonna have to, after exposing today, I'm gonna have to wash it, dry it, soak it in vinegar, iron it, and then it's gonna be ready for cutting. So I was hoping to do this project today, but I don't think it's gonna happen, and I don't think I'm gonna finish it today. It's gonna be few days project. So I decided to do something different also, and I use a stencil, and I'm gonna try to sun print using stencil, and I'm gonna use it as a part of the whole design. So today we don't have that strong sun, so it might take a while to expose it, but well, I have time. I'm cutting the squares for the patchwork, so, and I'm gonna in mid-time wait for this to expose. Okay, lovely bunnies, so I just finished exposing fabric, and I just actually iron it as well. So you see, I try to do different exposures, so I'm gonna have like different shades of blue, and I think as far as favorite go, that would be my favorite actually, and this is very small piece of fabric. I like this one too, and I like this color. It's more like denim kind of looking, and this one is more like bluish yellowish. This one I could expose a little bit longer, but I'm still happy with it. So I'm gonna still keep experimenting, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it for this project actually. I might buy the bigger fabric and try to do it in very sunny day, because actually each of them took me half an hour. and it still didn't like fully expose. Like, it's so funny that it got so bright over here but not over here, and I think that's the reason of the stencil. Stencil is a little bit see-through, which means that the light going through it, making it not entirely white. Because if you see right over here, it's absolutely white because this corner folded this way. But I think the stencils are too sheer for this type of project, or I need to get like a paper stencil, which is thicker and it doesn't show through. So overall, I have to say that I am very pleased with results of this. I would make few changes. First of all, I decided to do 2 coasters without the ruffles, and now I kind of regret it because they look very bold to me without the ruffle. I wanted some variety. I wanted to see how the plane gonna look like. So you can decide yourself, raffle or no raffle. You can see both versions on the left and right side of the screen. I think that next time when I'm gonna do something like this, I'm gonna pay even more attention to how I'm gonna place my squares. And by saying that, I don't care that my patchwork is not ideal, I will learn. It's more about designing it. I am still super happy with everything, and I am extremely pleased with the results, and it came out super nice and super fun, and I want to use them for my outdoor activities like dining on the deck, but I couldn't film it there yet because the weather is not permitted. But overall, it's super fun and easy project, and I highly recommend it. And my new fabric came in, and I'm gonna try to use the stencils to create some fun patterns and make something super fun out of it. So stay tuned. Super fun videos are coming up for spring, and we're gonna have a lot of super fun planned project, which I am excited to show you and share with you and actually start them myself. There's like a line of projects in my studio right now waiting to be addressed, and I am like keep shuffling them because I'm so excited to do them all, and I'm keep changing my mind which I'm gonna do next. So thank you so much for joining me on this video. I will see you next Sunday. Enjoy your weekend.